you're stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But 2020 isn't there for you. 2020 isn't there for you.
Okay.
Hi. All right, so hopefully this time, so just so you guys know, because we talked about this last time, there was actually supposed to be a YouTube post last time.
Mm-hmm. Technical difficulties.
But Patrick is an idiot and didn't put the long enough card in there. Long enough card? That's different. Didn't put the large enough card in there, and so we recorded the first 15 minutes of it, and then, yeah, we just went with the podcast instead.
Yeah.
We do have a visitor, so you may hear a little laughter. Marianne's like sitting behind us. We are currently in her house.
Yes.
That's our. You'll notice that we'll change locations often.
Yes. I mean, that's the whole
point.
The whole point
of what we're about to talk to you about.
So, if you
no,
if you did not listen to our last podcast,
you should definitely go do that.
Go do that before listening to this one.
It'll be a nice like manic moment. You'll listen to us talk about, the harsh of life in 2020 and how much it sucked, and then here we are, and you'll talk about happiness and joy.
It's like, revive me.
Cheers
and
to the White
Call
Claws, by the way, given by Miss Marianne.
White Claws by Marianne.
Cheers back there, Marianne.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. All right, nothing like healthy alcohol. So,
I mean, it is healthy.
100 calories.
Minus the alcohol part.
All right, so let's talk about what last episode.
Yes.
Oh, first, let's also say, because we do need to say this, speaking of last episode.
We do. Go ahead.
No, ladies first.
I think that you should talk.
That's her way of saying I can't spitball things. And Patrick, you talk a lot. No, we do want to say that we actually got a lot of people who randomly reached out to us and who randomly were like, hey, you guys are inspiring. It really means a lot to us. And it was a bit shocking and a bit humbling and flattering to have so many people actually take the time to listen and actually take the time to hear us share about our lives. And it was really nice. We had I think we're up to 50 some odd things, downloads, and it really means a lot to us. And
we're very grateful.
It makes us want to keep going and be further. I don't even know what that means. It means we want to keep pushing ourselves to do more.
For sure. So thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you to everyone.
And please continue to listen. Please continue to share with your family. Subscribe to us. We'll put it on iTunes soon enough, and then you can leave us reviews or whatever. But just please, please, please help us out, because that's what's going to help us. Mm-hmm. I know that's what every podcaster says, but still.
It's true. And today was our big launch. As far as all of our social media platforms. Yep. So if you follow us on our personal accounts, you will see that, because we will be the annoying people that are posting every single hour. That's going to be our goal. But please go follow all of that stuff too. Yeah.
And we'll talk about that afterwards. But first we're going to talk about what I'm sure you guys have noticed. It's called aPBJ. aPBJourney. No, it's aPBJ, because it's funny. It's aPBJourney. Sorry, we didn't rehearse that one. So we're just going to briefly go over what it is, what happened, how it became, how it was born into the light of a sandwich, otherwise known as a
peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly time away. Yeah, everyone knows that song. But if we're just going to go down to the details, aPBJ, Patrick, Brittany, journey.
And also, from a long time ago, before Brittany and I even thought about getting married, I woke up one day to her and I looked at her and I said, oh, our monogram is peanut butter, PB. And her mother then proceeded to buy us backpacks that had peanut butter.
Well,
inscribed.
Actually, his mother was the first one.
And
that was the first one.
Oh, was that the first one?
She was first.
Oh, yeah.
Cherry.
And my mother bought us Mickey Mouse shirts for our trip to Disney.
Our very first trip to Disney.
Our first trip to Disney.
That said peanut
and butter.
Yeah. So we've been peanut butter ever since.
And now we are going to do a journey. Jelly, peanut butter, jelly, journey, jelly, peanut butter. Yeah.
Okay, they get it. But anyways, where to begin?
You have your notes in front of you.
I know. So I don't know if any of you follow this lovely woman. Her name is Danny Austin. I started following her about well, really when the pandemic started and we left our cruise ship our cruise ship contract. I don't know why I started following her. She was just in the people that they suggest that you follow, so I just followed her. She ended up being this very huge influencer.
And she was very real. Like, even when you had showed me videos, it was very real, very honest, very frank.
And I think for women in general, on social media, it's really hard to come by people.
Has anybody looked at TikTok lately? I mean,
I mean, it's disturbing. But honestly, Danny Austin is one of those people that, like, I followed her whole pregnancy. I felt like I was part of the family, and she's just really been a great influence on my life as far as inspiring me to try to find some in this weird time that we're kind of still in. But it inspired me to find something that I enjoy just as much as performing.
And at this time, we were in Dallas, like we were talking about. We'd been in Dallas, and we're rolling up to December 31st. We're about to start a new year. We'd made a decision that we weren't going to continue our 6-month lease. We knew we were moving to North Carolina, but we didn't even know what was going to happen after that. We had no idea. And cue New Year's Eve.
I was a host at 60 Vines. He was the bartender and a waitress. And,
a waitress? What am I identifying as today?
I'm a waiter, a server. Oh, I suck. But
anyway, sorry, that was funny. All right, we're laughing too much.
Sorry,
right.
Yeah. So I was standing there looking down at my tablet that I was working on with all of our tables and everything. And I hear this voice, this big group of people come in, and this voice say, "Oh, for Jordan Ramirez." And in my head, I know that Danny Austin's husband is named Jordan Ramirez. But I look up, and I don't know why I was surprised to see his face, but he was standing right there. And something in my head said, if you look to your left, Danny Austin is standing right in front of you. And so I started sweating profusely because
I have never seen my fiance become a fangirl.
I have never experienced becoming a fangirl.
And she comes walking up to me at the bar, and
no.
Okay.
Let me give them the preface of the story, because I, as a host, all of you who have hosted probably know that you never show the guest the tablet of all the tables. You never do that. You just sit them where you can. And in my very nervous fangirl situation I was in, I looked at them and was like, they had a big party, and with our CDC rules, we could only sit 10 at a table, and so I had to split them up. And I was like, but here, look at my tablet. Where would you like to sit? And all of my coworkers were like, what are you doing? And so we got it situated, and that's when I came over to Patrick.
So she comes over to me, and she tells me that this girl is here, and I know what she's been influence-wise on Brittany and how much of a positive influence. So me being me and not really knowing she's famous nor caring that she's famous, I went straight over to her. I sat down next to her. I was very honest about how grateful I was to her helping Brittany out in a hard time. I told her that I really appreciate what she's doing, and that as a performer myself, when someone comes up to you and tells you that you inspired them, there's nothing more fulfilling than that, because that is probably more than any other reason. You think it's because we have egos. No, normally it's because we want to change people's lives and inspire them. And so it's good to be telling people you inspire them. I run up to Brittany, and then I tell Brittany, I was like, you have to talk to her before she leaves, because she was all fangirling and not really.
I was. They were out for her husband's birthday, so I was trying to find the very perfect time to go up to her. And I was just nervous, so I didn't go up until right before she left.
But you did.
I did.
And there is a picture on our Instagram if you want to go look at it.
Yes, we did take a photo outside.
Yep. She got to thank her.
I got to thank her for just being a light in my life, and she didn't even know that. And I think she's that for a lot of people, especially women. And it was really nice. She teared up, and I teared up, and it was just a really nice feeling. And
so, and it really, what it did is, the reason we're talking about this, what we're circling back to, is that we had actually been talking about Brittany as a person, and I think that anyone can attest, and who is her friend, is Brittany is very inspiring herself. And I've always told Brittany and pushed Brittany to try to be a bit more socially media present, and that she could be an influencer. And for me to see Brittany respond the way she did to this woman who's an influencer, which, let's be honest, you think of an influencer, you think of fake people who are, you don't always, but sometimes you do. And so it was a bit fortuitous, and also a bit of a, if you believe, we don't believe in coincidences. We believe that things happen for a reason. But whatever it is you believe, coincidence or fate or kismet or whatever, this woman was walking in the door on New Year's Eve at
to start a new year.
To start a new year after the year we just reflected upon on our last episode. So I have to finish working, but it's not like we're going to be open until midnight. And so Brittany, there happens to be a Nobu. For those of you who don't know Nobu.
Oh my goodness.
It's heinously expensive, but heinously good.
It's so worth it.
And we decided we were going to have a couple of drinks at the bar and spend our New Year's at Nobu.
Yeah.
Much better than last New Year's, where you were diagnosed with GI and
I was
you weren't able to go out. That was sad.
That was really sad.
That was really sad. Anyway, and so we were at the bar.
Mm-hmm. And we started getting into a conversation about it started with Danny, and just like the fact that I couldn't believe we met her. And it kind of it morphed into a conversation about what we could do.
Yeah.
What we could do at that point. It wasn't what we're going to.
Yeah, you're right.
And there were, the possibilities were endless.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about traveling, because
what it was that we reflected upon what we missed.
Yes.
And we reflected upon what we could do with what we missed and what we couldn't do with what we missed. And we couldn't perform.
Yes.
There was no going to cruise ships and performing.
Right.
So,
no going anywhere.
Yeah. So the only thing we could do that we missed that would tie into what we were talking about, that would be something that could allow us to have a forum that we could communicate with people, maybe one day get a sponsor, and, whatever, that it was travel. Mm-hmm. And so that's where the beginnings of a aPBJourney took place. Yeah. And I'll be honest, so what kind of happened at this point was we reflected on it last time, or talked about it last time, about how I was hitting a bit of a low point at this point. By January, I was starting to lose my positivity steam, as it were. And I did say to Brittany, both in my opinion, maybe in a little bit of an unfair way, but in an honest way, I was like, I'm tired. I feel like I've been holding this positive thing.
And he was.
And I would like it if you would take the reins on this one. If you could take the lead and you can take control, and I will follow you, and you can do this. And
I ran with that and was like, okay, well, I do like accomplishing things. I don't know that I was ever good at planning things, to be honest, but I started planning for South Dakota. Yeah. I started planning this big trip to South Dakota, and
we were gonna do the thing where we did the Instagram and everything like that. We were making, she was talking about all these plans. The goal was the plans, all these plans and plans and plans and plans.
Right. And it was mostly about the destination. I have a Word document that is word for word how to get to South Dakota and what exactly we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And that's how I am. I mean, if you know me, I'm pretty OCD, honestly. But
yeah, I don't know why you're saying you're not good at plans. That's what you're a master at. You're really good at making plans.
Well, yes, you're right. I take that back. I am good at making plans, but I totally forgot about the journey, and I wasn't communicating with Patrick at all. At all.
Well, it wasn't that you forgot about the journey. What it was that we had a miscommunication in our relationship. You thought I was about the destination, and you were making plans based upon the fact that you thought what I wanted was to get to the destination and create something.
The goal was the destination.
And you didn't realize that that's not what it was for me. It was something very different for me. And so what you did is you didn't communicate with me.
And it could have been an easy, just talk about it.
Yep.
And I didn't
because I'm actually right on board with her. I think the destination's important, but the journey is actually quite literally. I feel like we're going to use the word journey.
I know now
much.
that it's in our title.
But it's it's the catchphrase.
Yeah.
What is our catchphrase, by the way? I forget. What it
travels totally our jam.
Oh yeah, travels.
Get it? Peanut butter
and jam. Jelly. Totally is our jam. Jam.
Yes.
Jam, because it's like a jelly.
Okay, that's good, babe.
Anyway, so
I missed out on. Well, I didn't miss out. I just decided not to communicate and ask questions, and take it on myself because he had said. I took his words literally, I feel like.
Yep.
And he said, I want you to take the reins. So I took those reins and I wrapped them around my hands and I did all this work.
And what ended up happening was about come mid-January, early February, I'm noticing that she's doing a lot of planning, but not a lot of talking. So I don't know what the plans are. So in that, I had the kind of the harsh reality and the realization that saying, hey, can you take the reins just isn't going to work. It's not how relationships work. It's not how this thing that we wanted to create was going to work. So I decided that I needed to take what my strengths are, which my strengths are building upon ideas. She's much better at having these great, grandiose ideas, but she's not the greatest at pinpointing how to make those ideas work. So like, if she was like, oh my God, I want to create a podcast. And I'll be like, that's great. How are you going to market it? I don't know. How are you going to record it? I don't know. I'm just going to make a podcast. And so I'm more the person who will go that's a great idea. How are we going to do that? And I realize that's what makes us a good team. That's what's going to make us balance and work this out. So I made the decision that I needed to be more involved. And
we actually, we moved out of Texas on January 19th or something like that.
Yep.
And honestly hadn't touched.
Well, we were planning. There was a lot of talk about what we could do and what we could do, and we weren't actually taking any action.
Yeah.
And to harken back to Curtis and Kiana, who I know we talked about ad nauseum last time, they are big action people. And that is, I think, why we've made the decision and why when we talked about it, that it's time to stop planning. It's time to start taking actions.
Yeah, so
much kind of like life quite often.
Right, especially this past year. Just got to do it. So we got to North Carolina where we reside at the moment, but
well, right now we reside in Kansas
we
City.
We do.
In
Traxler's
house.
Olathe. Olathe.
I was going to try to sing a song like I had like
Olathe.
Anyway.
That's the only one. Anyways, so we got there and we still didn't really do anything. It was more planning. It was more like
planning.
Oh my God! Like I would sit there in the morning on my laptop and like make these Word documents about North Carolina and things we should do, Pennsylvania and things we should do. Just literally lists and detailed lists, and I would feel accomplished.
I still haven't seen any of them.
No, but they're good. But we finally got to the point where we were going to go visit my parents in Pennsylvania, and we knew our very favorite first date place,
which
Trogs.
We talked about last time. Went to the Trogs,
in Hershey, Pennsylvania, was there. So that was actually Valentine's Day weekend.
And I talked to her before we went there. And I said to her just very honestly, kind of what I've already said here, which is, this isn't working. We're not progressing. And, we need to, if we're going to progress and we're going to grow and make this a thing, we're going to just start doing it. And so I was like, so just do me a favor, get a notebook and bring a piece of paper and a pen. Notebook is a piece of paper. It's actually a lot of paper, but anyway, that's not the point. And bring it to Trogs, and we are going to lay out a foundation, and we're going to talk this through.
And honestly, this was the moment that I realized if I just would have communicated with him that I don't want to do this alone, like I don't feel comfortable taking the reins. Yeah, this would have happened earlier. But long and behold, we got here, and we were actually at Trogs for so long that they kicked us out.
Yeah, because COVID. So in Pennsylvania, every state's different. So wherever you're listening from, I know we've got some UK listeners, people in Ireland, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's listening from where you're from, you're all dealing with COVID in a very different way.
Yeah.
In Texas, we had 75% capacity.
Yeah.
You wore masks. If you're in Florida, you don't. It's a party. If you're in, North Carolina, it's kind of in the middle. Pennsylvania is a little bit more shut down. They were still at 25% restaurant capacity.
And we felt very lucky to get to go to Trogs.
Yes,
so.
we were. We were blessed to go to Trogs.
Yeah.
But one of their things was, as they said on the front end, that if you were there for an hour and a half and it was a busy time, they may ask you to leave.
Yeah.
And our waiter finally came up to us 4 hours later.
4 hours.
And was
so
like,
we were very grateful that they let us stay there for 4 hours.
We love Trogs. They take good care.
Yeah. So in that 4 hours, we got a lot accomplished, I feel like, at least on paper. And
then we actually went to Iron Hill Brewery and continued to
Yes.
talk for another hour or two.
Yeah. And then the next morning
we talked again for
even
longer.
I think another hour and a half.
No, longer than that.
Really?
We went to
Cocoa Beanery or something.
No, we went to the Philip Arthur place first.
You're right,
we were
for
there
lunch.
for 2 hours, and then we went to the Cocoa Beanery
so
and there for an hour.
A lot of thought and work went into this aPBJourney idea.
So this is what it's about, and here's what we're shooting for, and what we want you guys to join us on, and take in steps into this place, is that we are blessed that we've traveled a lot, and we want to talk about the places we've gone, and we want to talk about the hikes or the restaurants and stuff like that, because we are foodies, we are drinkies, we are brewery people. We will be talking about that. But one of the things that I think Brittany and I have noticed throughout our travels and our times is we have these crazy, weird stories, experiences, things that, walking into a bar and 3 old guys buy us 3 rounds. We end up staying with them until 2-3 hours later, talking about life,
like honestly life.
And then doing the same thing, walking into a bar in Bristol, Tennessee, where we meet a gentleman, and he ended up giving 2 of his hand painted paintings and talking
they're
to him.
amazing.
And it was then that we realized that for as much as the journey is important and it is what we want to talk about, we also want to talk about the relationships, the friendships, how that influences and reinforces the positivity of our lives, and how being someone who can be a positive light in the world can bring all of that in its travels.
Yep.
And we're still figuring it out.
I think it's going to evolve.
It's
as
going to
everything
change.
does. I do. If you know me, anyone out there listening, my slogan for my life is "Be a nice person."
Be a nice person.
Or be a nice
human.
Yeah. And my lovely friend Marianne behind us actually got me a shirt that says that. Now I own 2 shirts that say that. But traveling actually makes me see how many people are nice and how much the world needs more people like that.
Yeah.
And
so that's what we're going to focus on. And we are going to be, please follow us. We're going to be on Instagram. We're going to be on TikTok. We're going to be on Facebook. We're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be posting our podcasts on Spotify and Apple Tunes, iTunes, whatever it's called.
We're not Apple people anymore.
So. We're not. So we're Android people. We turn to the dark side. But I would try to do a Yoda voice, but I don't have one in my...
no, I couldn't even try.
Anyway, that wasn't actually a good one. I'd do better than that.
The only voice I can do is, "Oh my."
No, that is
God.
not the only voice you can do. If you hold the microphone a little further away, you can do your other one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. P40, whatever. We just heard Marianne behind us go, "Oh God."
P. Sherman 42 all the way with Sydney. I got it.
Yeah, you have to be louder than that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah.
We'll get there. But that's what it's about. So next podcast on Wednesday, we actually are going to do our first guest appearance.
Whoop, whoop.
And Marianne is going to sit and talk with us, and we'll probably talk about what we did over the weekend and the stuff like that. She doesn't even know this. I mean, she knows we're going to do it, but she doesn't know what we're going to talk about yet. Yeah. And just reflect on life, and we'll talk probably about the year again and how she's experienced it as a performer and things like that, because that is what this is going to be about. It's going to be about the journey through life, as well as the journey to physical places, as well as the journey with other people, because that's something that I think
it's extremely important. Yep.
Yeah.
It really is.
Being real about life.
Yeah.
Without being depressing.
Dun, dun, dun.
Huh?
I don't know.
So yeah, keep an eye. TikTok is going to be a bit of an amalgamation. That's going to be our creative outlet.
I think that's going to just be like the entertainment.
Yeah. So if you guys ever want to be
if you want to see two idiots on
camera, like right
camera, now, that's the place to watch because we
absolutely.
will. But we will also have very cool ones like singing and dancing and.
Yep. Indeed. And so you will notice that our name is aPBJourney. So follow us on Instagram, aPBJourney.
Yep.
TikTok will be a little different. It's aPBJourney, but we'll link it in there. We also have a link tree, and we'll do that. Eventually, we'll have a website.
Yep.
And please just give us a follow. We're going to go on and blast follow all of you and annoy you guys. And we'll be posting stories about what we're doing, and we'll be talking about things that we like. And, if we find breweries that we really like, and, obviously this weekend we're in Kansas, so that's going to be kind of the focus is Kansas City, and not Kansas, but Kansas City. Go Chiefs, even though I like the Cowboys.
Mahomes.
But yeah, that game got stolen from them.
Mahomes, boy.
Stupid referees. Anyway, no, I don't mean that. Actually, referees are really cool.
Depends on what sport.
Anyway.
But yes. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. We actually kept it to 20. We said 15 to 30 minutes.
It was just a short one.
So it's a short one. We'll probably stick more around between the 45 to an hour and 15-minute range, but this one's at least a little quickie.
And we are actually, just so everyone knows, we are going to be launching, I guess, posting a new podcast every Wednesday. So that's going to be our official day. Yes.
And there may be random times where we might post a second one if we get ever so inclined or motivated, but Wednesdays.
Give us a follow on everything else.
Follow everything
you'll
else.
See when it's posted.
And we will post it on Wednesdays. I will say we'll do better. I already had Dana, my really, really good friend from college, already commented and said, "You are not marketing yourself well enough. I love you too." And I didn't even know about a podcast. I was like, okay, so we're going to try to do a little bit better about that. Sorry, Dana.
It's a growing process.
It is.
Everyone's learning.
It is.
AKA me and Patrick.
Yep.
Patrick and me.
We.
Oop.
Oh. My mom would have cringed just then.
No, Patrick and me is right.
But the first time.
Yeah, me and Patrick is not right.
Yeah.
Patrick and me.
Patrick and you.
No, Patrick and I.
Patrick and we.
Sorry, Sherry. It's Patrick and I are learning because I am learning. Yes. Anyways.
We moo it, 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 we moo it. I think this is the way we're gonna end this.
Jungle.
Why do you have a hard time finding the key on that song?
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
I promise we're singers.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye. Can we do that again? It was a little rough.
Goodbye. Bye.
Deuces.